Hey everybody, it's your boy Nerdicane. If you see this on the store shelf, buy it. It's really good. Thanks for tuning in. No, I'm kidding. This is Fantastic Four Grimm Noir. This is a one-shot. It says to be continued, but I think this is a one-shot. And that is all it needs to be. Sometimes you don't need to go on a sweeping epic story of 20 issues or 100 like Tom King's Batman. Sometimes you do one and done. And in 20-something pages, 22 pages, you can move a lot and you can do a lot of entertaining. And that's what this does. This is sort of about Ben Grimm. It touches all the bases. The hero struggles. The hero fails. The hero has trouble. The hero has to overcome. It's more of a story of the humanity of Ben Grimm, of the hero. It's really he's made of rock, and he's made of this living rock, but he's still a person. He still lives on Yancey Street. He still has ties to the street and his neighbors, and the thing in his life, his wife, is the thing he cherishes most. And he keeps having this recurring dream that is sort of threatening. Look at this. For an opening page, look at that. That is awesome. That's like something that should be painted at the Vatican. But he's human again, and he's dealing with these demons and these monsters, and he keeps having this face looking at him. And it's really cool how he goes about kind of tracking it down, He keeps waking up screaming and terrified. And I'm going to skip some pages for the copyright gods, and I want to get to the really cool part, because his neighbor sort of gets sucked into this too, across the street. She's a singer. His wife kind of can hear her. They both can hear her because she's a singer. They've never really met her. Just like if you live in a big city, there's people near you, people who you know what they're into and you know what they're like, but you don't really know them. And that sort of happens in New York. And sometimes you get so many people living in this crowded city. So what happens is, he describes the face. He describes this thing that he keeps seeing to his wife. And his wife is an artist and a sculptor. It's a really cool use of that character. She sculpts it and from his description and just spot on nails it. And he kind of goes around and he's trying to solve the mystery of who this is, what this entity is, which is really cool. It's something that you take this very, very strong, this very, very tough superhero, and you make them have to do something smart to make them use their intelligence. He's an above average intelligent person, but when you're around Sue Storm and Reed Richards, you're kind of a dummy. And that's, he's not really the dummy in this situation. He's just kind of like, he is what he is. He's a street smart guy who kind of goes about the street smart way of kind of figuring this out. He goes to Stretch. He goes... I think he goes one other place, but then he goes to the Sanctum Sanctorium, or what he thinks is the Sanctum Sanctorium. It is not. It's actually the villain who kind of drew him in. And you don't know exactly where the reality... It's kind of cool. You don't know. It's blurred because you don't know where the reality and the nightmare begin. But he has him, and he makes him crumble again. This is the recurring theme in his nightmares, that he falls apart. This art is gorgeous. You go from very dark, these nightmare type scenes where things are very contrasted and almost black and white with splashes of color in it. And then you get the really good shading in the real world and things like that, and the really good figures as well. It turns out that this is despair. I don't know how you say that, but he feeds off of despair. So that's why the singer across the street, he kidnapped her. That's part of the reason why he was following this mystery, is because of her disappearance. So he gets into it, and basically despair just thinks nothing of him, because he thinks, I've been feeding off of your despair. I have you right where I want you, and just cast him aside. And even in his darkest, lowest point, he does what a hero does. He he's dealing with all these traumas, and this is the thing that despair is feeding off of. And he does the thing. He picks himself up. He pulls himself literally in this metaphysical type world, he pulls himself back together and he does something awesome. I'm not going to spoil the rest of this. I want you to go buy it. This was a really, really good story. Here is credit where credit's due. Oh well, I think those two did the story and the art. That's really good. I would, if you can't, if Marvel's having like creative trouble, nothing's really catching, none of your events are really interesting. Go back to basics. If you got to do 1 and 2 and 3 shot stories and just go through a year or two like that while everybody kind of recharges their batteries, or you get, God forbid, you get new talented, interested people to come write for Marvel, do that if that's what you need to do. If you need to sweep out the old tired people who just aren't really, they're getting these reboot after reboot after reboot, and none of it is catching on with the fans. Just do this. Do some really interesting one-shots. Do short stories and just go on that. That's really, I think some of the best comics that I've read from Marvel Comics have been 1 and 2 shots in the past year, probably the past year and a half. But as you see from my channel, there's really not anything from Marvel that I'm following every month. Like ASM I don't buy, Avengers, the X-Men, I gave up on the X-Men, these Plant Men. I think the only thing that I've got on a regular basis is Savage Sword of Conan, which has been good. But I do recommend this. I highly recommend this. This was a really cool story. It's a I hesitate to call it a superhero story. It's a story about a human, about a guy who is a superhero. And it shows why. It shows why he's a superhero. He's not a superhero because... Well, he is a superhero because of the skin and because of his strength. But before that, before the superpowers, he had the personality and had the perseverance, and he had that fortitude of a hero. The rest of his body just had to catch up to the basic building blocks of Ben Grimm. And I think that's really shown in this story, and I really think it's a really cool thing. Go out and buy it. Even if it's not, it may be a one-shot, but I think it's definitely worth your money, and I think it's worth your time. But that's all I got for this one. Yeah, this is a short one. Good comics wind up being very short reviews. But thanks for your time. Thanks for watching. You guys go out, have a good day, and I am definitely going to try to do daily content from now on. But we'll see how that goes, because I've promised that to you guys like 8 billion times. But yeah, I'm not gonna make any promises. But go out and check this out. Go out and find something else. Let me know what you think in the comments, and hit a like and a subscribe. You guys go have a good day. Bye.